I would much prefer to use Facebook to talk to people.
That young people become addicted to having access to their friends.
You get to communicate with everyone from across the globe.
All this use of social media means they're connected and they don't have time to think.
Yeah, it's an easy way to connect people as a group for one, like Facebook group chats.
I think some of the skills that young people are not developing are the communication skills that you have with dealing with people face to face.
I use to check the news, watch funny videos, I communicate with my friends and family, just catch up on everything.
They're constantly connected, they're constantly thinking, they're constantly available as a target.
Nearly 14 million Australians actively use social media services such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. What makes these services so popular? Keep watching as we investigate both the positives and negatives of social media and how they impact teenage life.
I'd use them every day.
Every day.
Probably every day.
You can't really say, oh, I don't want it anymore, or I'm never going to get it, because eventually, everything's going to be through that and you're just sort of going to be left behind.
I would much prefer to use Facebook to talk to people or message someone about something.
Because all my family live over in Colombia, I get to talk to them through Facebook and Skype. And yeah, so that's an easier way to sort of communicate with them without having to actually ring them and stuff. You get to communicate with everyone from across the globe, no matter where they are, and you get to just talk to anybody, wherever, at any time.
I found out so many different things on Facebook that I don't find out about on the news, or I can read about it in more depth than what they actually say on the news. So yeah, I think that it helps me connect better to what's going on.
I kind of like following celebrities and seeing what they're doing and keeping up with all the gossip.
It's an easy way to connect people as a group for one, like Facebook group chats. They're good. We've got the seniors page and stuff, that's very handy.
You can text your friends, there's videos, it's just all around awesome.
With social media being so popular amongst teenagers, what are the negatives of these services?
I think ultimately the most negative thing is that you can't shut it off. And I think you can't live without it either. It'd be lovely to be able to say, I'm not on Facebook, or I'm not on whatever happens at the time. It was MySpace once. But if you're not, then you're missing out.
If you say you can't have your phone, a lot of young people have anxiety related to not having access to their phone. Being connected to people you don't know can have negative effects. So if you have a large number of people who you're friends with through whatever, whether it's Instagram or whether it's Snapchat or Facebook, and that you don't know, some of those issues can come out, because then the people that you're talking to haven't got a relationship with you other than their social media.
I sort of have a sense that when you've got that third party in there, the social networking or the social media engine that you're using, it's taking away from that interaction between you and another person. It's adding another layer and then putting a divide between the two of you. I think it can take freedom away, because you've got another person who's not your friend determining how you're going to interact and who you're going to interact with and when, and the nature of that interaction. The constant news updates, and it's part of this idea of a 24-hour news cycle and everything going online. I think they're a bad thing because they're allowing journalism to be sloppy. I can tell you that there was a tornado and 13 people have died, and then 5 minutes later change that down to 3 people have died, and there's no sense of, hey, we got it wrong. In the past, newspapers would have to issue a retraction. Now they can just sort of smooth over it. So there's no need to be accurate, there's no need to get it right.
It allows people to read it and read it again, and with the news sometimes they go just a little bit too fast, or sometimes I'm sick of hearing the same story over and over again. So at least this way, you don't like that story, you can skip over it, you don't have to sit there and wait for the next one.
With social media embedded in teenage culture, how do these negatives impact teenage life?
I think some of the skills that young people are not developing are the communication skills that you have with dealing with people face to face, because they're often, they're not talking to people or doing face-to-face contact, they're doing all social media. We don't get to see the physical cues. If someone's getting distressed, we don't get to see their body language, we don't get to see how they're responding to what we're saying. So most of the time that I would see students here at Ryan would be in relation to sexting or in relation to cyberbullying through social media.
It's easy. You don't have to think before you post anything. You don't have to get up the courage to make the phone call. You don't have to go and speak to someone face to face. And it's not just that anonymity, it's the fact that it's available to you straight away.
Sometimes people feel more confident to say nasty or rude or horrible things to somebody to make themselves feel better, and that's bullying, regardless whether it's cyber or whether it's face-to-face. You don't have any breaks. So if you are being targeted, or if you are vulnerable, or if you are bullying somebody else, then the person who's receiving the negative messages on social media, they can't turn that off. Young people find it very difficult to block or to exit or report. And so what happens is they're bombarded by those messages.
We're not talking that long ago, but when I was a teenager, you went home and that was it. The day was over. If people wanted to contact you, they had to phone, they had to go through a gauntlet of talking to your parents first. Can I speak to Graham? And all of that, now that's gone.
I think that they're almost invincible, so they say things or do things that perhaps they wouldn't want other people to know about or see or do. And so that becomes the issue, that it's a sense of lack of ownership, I guess, about what they're saying and what they're doing.
Straight away, people have their phones out, they're communicating, they're connecting with things that have happened during the day.
Whether it's for communicating with friends and family, reading the news, or organizing events, social media has proven to be crucial in teenage life. However, this convenience does come at a cost and could also be harmful if used incorrectly. Is it time to ditch or embrace this new form of socialization? You decide.